I'm standing in the beautiful scenic Wayanad, otherwise known as the #1 tourist destination in Kerala. But here today, right now, there's non-stop activity around me because of the disaster that struck 2 days ago. 48 hours ago at 1 a.m., as people here in Wayanad were fast asleep, a massive landslide as a result of a cloudburst triggered the biggest tragedy that we've seen in recent times in the country. 160 people have died and unfortunately counting. I went to a rescue site today, hours ago. It's quite a trek because no vehicle can reach there. There's a river that's cut right through the land. So we have to walk through a bridge that's been pretty much built of wooden planks by the army going through a raging river. You have to trek another 5-6 kilometers uphill all the way to the landslide spot. Once I got there, remember this is 2 days after the tragedy has taken place, there are still attempts being made to fish out bodies. There are still locations being discovered where the landslide hit, where then rescue officials find that, oh look, more houses have been buried under the rubble. And with their hands, essentially, they're now scooping out all of the dirt, scooping out the mud, scooping out the remnants of the house, the debris, to reach the mortal remains. Body parts are being fished out from the river. There are bodies that are being found under all of the debris 2 days on. And unfortunately, like I said, with the rescue operations expected to continue over the next 2 days, it looks like that number could unfortunately go up. I'm not exaggerating when I say an entire town has been wiped out as a result of these landslides. There's a lot of talk about who's to blame, etc. We're going to keep that on the side here on India Today. We're focusing on what's the situation on the ground. And I must say that Kerala has stepped up how people from across the state have come together to provide all necessary relief, rescue, help in any way they can. It's unbelievably challenging terrain here. It's unbelievably challenging weather here. As I speak, it's very, very cold, non-stop rain, but it hasn't stopped Keralites from coming out in large numbers and helping in any way they can in the face of this massive, mammoth and heartbreaking tragedy. I get you now a ground report. As I made my way to the landslide location, I tried to give you a sense of how hard it is for every single rescue official right now involved in this operation. And heartbreakingly, as I got to the location where the landslide took place, which I thought, by the way, would be completely cleared by now, there's still work going on, bodies being pulled out. We're making our way now towards Mundakai. You can see how treacherous it is. It is courtesy these army personnel that even this much is possible. Using barricades, wooden planks, they've created this particular bridge here, makeshift obviously, and when the current goes up, this also is completely shut down. Let's make our way towards Mundakai now. I'm running right through because it's raining as well. Non-stop rain here through the day, and through that the work continuing. Can you believe that where people are right now, this was a temple, completely destroyed, because while I've crossed one side of the river and come to this side right now towards Mundakai as we head there, this entire area, I understand, just about 24 hours ago, actually 36 hours ago, was completely underwater. Now the water levels have come down, which is why you can see efforts to create more and more bridges so that people can come across. Right now, the way I showed you is the only path, because the big bridge that is being constructed by the army, where they've created that column which will be put up, that's yet to be set up. But from here, it's another at least 60-minute walk. I'm going to take you through it to show you exactly what our personnel are going through, the kind of challenges that they're facing, terrain-wise, weather-wise, as you can see, and still getting there to rescue every single person. So we'll take you through that particular trek. Let's hope that the weather doesn't stop us. Come with me. This is the entrance. As we just showed you, we walked through that bridge. We're now making our way up there. This is exactly what the area of Mundakai looked like before the landslide happened. And I've asked this question several times to several authorities about what triggered the landslides. Yes, natural calamity, but also deforestation, tea plantations all across this entire stretch as far as the eye can see. And it will lead to questions about whether that too was one of the causes for the landslide happening in the manner that it did. Mundakai was this beautiful. Now what you'll see when I show you the landslide location will absolutely shock you, because there's nothing left of this beauty. Let's keep going. Another 5 kilometers. As we walk up, I've been speaking to a lot of the people here, and almost all of them are locals who've come up to help. Sorry, നിങ്ങൾ എവിടെയാണ്? വയനാട്.
വയനാട് ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് സുൽത്താൻ ബത്തേരി.
എപ്പോ വന്നു ഇവിടെ?
ഞാൻ രാവിലെ 8 o'clock.
എവിടെ പോയി നിങ്ങൾ? ലാൻഡ് സ്ലൈഡ് ലൊക്കേഷൻ പോയോ?
അവിടെ
പോയിട്ട് താഴെ
വന്നു വീണ്ടും മുകളിലോട്ട് പോവാണ്. സെക്കൻഡ് ടൈം.
സോ എപ്പോ വന്നു നിങ്ങൾ?
ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് ഒരു 10 മണിയാകുമ്പോൾ വന്നതാണ്. ഇന്നലെ ഫുൾ ടൈം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇന്നലെ രാത്രി മിലിറ്ററി ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷമാണ് നമ്മൾ പോയത് ഇവിടുന്ന്. അവിടുന്ന് റിക്കവറി ഒരു 25 ബോഡിയോളം നമ്മൾ എന്ത് റിക്കവർ ചെയ്ത് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട് ഇന്നലെ.
ഫസ്റ്റ് വരുന്ന ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ മോർച്ചറിയിലായിരുന്നു ഡ്യൂട്ടി. മോർച്ചറിയിൽ വളരെ
ഡ്യൂട്ടി പറഞ്ഞാൽ
മോർച്ചറിയിൽ സഹായിക്കല്.
ആര് പറഞ്ഞു
അവിടെ
ഏത് ഡ്യൂട്ടിയാണ്?
അവിടെ സ്വയം നാട്ടുകാർ കൂടിയിട്ട് അങ്ങ് തെരഞ്ഞെടുക്കലാണ്. ഗ്രൂപ്പാണ്. ഇന്ന ഡ്യൂട്ടി നമ്മളങ്ങ് മനസ്സറിഞ്ഞ് ചെയ്യാം. ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മളത് അവിടെ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കുക. ഗവൺമെന്റിന് ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കുക.
കേരള മലയാളി സ്റ്റൈൽ. ഇത് എവിടെ എന്ത് അപകടം വന്നാലും ഞങ്ങളെല്ലാവരും ഒറ്റക്കെട്ടാ. എവിടെ വന്നാലും
ഇത്ര സമയമായിട്ടും അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ഇത്രയും ആൾക്ക് നമ്മൾ ഫുഡ് എത്തിച്ചു കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. എന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കഴിച്ചില്ല. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ വരുന്ന വഴിക്ക് 2 പേര് അങ്ങോട്ട് തിരിച്ചു പോവായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അവര് നമുക്ക് വന്ന ഫുഡാണിത്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് എവിടെയാണോ ഫുഡ് കാൽക്കുലേഷൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് നമുക്ക് കാൽക്കുലേഷൻ ചെയ്ത് നിൽക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. നമുക്ക് എവിടുന്നാണോ കിട്ടുന്നത് നമുക്ക് അവിടുന്ന് കഴിക്കാന്നുള്ളൊരു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിംഗ്.
ഒരു കുടുംബമാണ്.
ഒരു കുടുംബം പോലെ ചോദിച്ചിട്ട് ഇവന് ഫുഡ് കഴിച്ചിട്ടില്ല അവനക്ക് കൊടുക്കും.
നിങ്ങളുടെ സർവീസ്ക്ക് താങ്ക് യു. സോ ഓൾ ഓഫ് ദം വാക്കിംഗ് അപ്പ് ഹിൽ, saying several times they've done it and continue to do so. They're not part of any organization, any of that. They're locals who heard of the news and decided, look, amid this torrential rain, we're going to come here, do everything we can to help. And that's the spirit of Kerala that you see here, that I'm witnessing. Behind me is the entire stretch of the river there flowing through. You can see the rocks that is brought along as a result of the landslide. 2 days back, when the landslide happened, the water was right up till here. Now it's receded and left behind all of that debris. Locals tell me that it was along this stretch the bodies were washed up. A lot of the bodies were found almost 20-30 kilometers away from where I'm standing, which is where the actual landslide took place. So you can imagine the amount of debris that really pushed all of these homes, bodies, families across till the very end. Even now at this point, rescue operations continue. You can see there are several officials out there, but it's impossible really to sift through, dig through all of that debris. That big mound behind me, it's untouched so far. And God alone knows what's left there, the remnants of families, of homes, which they suspect could be in that debris. But they can get to that only once they finish at the landslide zone, which we're going to next. As we speak, bodies are being pulled out, so the rescue operation is still very much continuing in many pockets where officials are reaching and realizing only now that the landslide has hit here too, that houses have been completely destroyed. In many of these circumstances, and just the sheer nature of this tragedy can be summed up in the images I'm showing you. Many of these circumstances, locals tell me that they're not able to find more than body parts, but they're still treating it with the respect and dignity that it deserves. So many people who've gathered here. You see the kind of resource it takes really for this kind of an operation. Every single one of them involved because of the terrain. And once the mortal remains are taken down from that particular spot where it was discovered. And, officials have been here for the last half an hour. They've been digging with their hands, essentially, to reach the mortal remains, to reach that body, because as soon as they caught a glimpse, they had to then use their hands because of how loose the soil is. As you can see, gingerly, the body parts being brought down, the body being brought down right now by officials who have been working day in and day out, risking their own lives in this inclement weather to do everything they can to ensure every person who is struck in this landslide is treated with dignity. I apologize for bringing you these kind of sensitive images, but this is the nature of tragedy that we're actually dealing with, where every 15 minutes another body is pulled out by the officials who are working here through the heavy rain from early morning till late into the night, till sundown. And from here, it's at least 1 hour that you'll have officials actually walking right down to the spot where the ambulance can reach them, because the ambulance can't come up to where we've come. They have to trek all the way. Sir, India Today. they have to trek all the way to the other side. And that's where the ambulance can actually take the mortal remains to a morgue. And in some cases, injured people also being pulled out, which is nothing short of a miracle. Still bodies are there, sir?
Still bodies are there. And here, overall, we don't know how much houses are there. But we can see 10 to 15 houses in this side. So, still we are searching. And we got right now 4 bodies. The people saying from here, people telling that there is some more bodies. Before that, the people all went to, So now.
So how much longer do you think the rescue operation here will?
Yesterday, this happened yesterday morning, 1:30 a.m. So on that time onwards, rescue non-stop. The people don't have food and people doing well work, and we are very salute for the Kerala people and Kerala rescue people. I did not see like this kind of rescue in anywhere, but Kerala people very, very, very incredible. We cannot say how the people were doing. So according to my experience, is very we can't to say the words put across.
Thank you for everything you're doing also for this. You can see the water flowing by in this particular area. There's water flowing through the entire location. People are walking by and helping in every way they can. But you heard the gentleman there who's been a part of the rescue operations. What they're doing here is nothing short of heroic. So many locals, officials risking their lives to come here in this pouring rain. You've been seeing how it's non-stop raining. This entire stretch here, there's absolutely nothing left. And this was an area full of tea plantations, full of homes. Nearly 400 families washed away as a result of these landslides. You can see the path that the landslide took. All the boulders, remnants of the landslide. You can see in this area, you see 1 or 2 houses left behind, but otherwise all other houses completely washed away. And just imagine what these people were going through. 1 a.m., fast asleep, the roof suddenly collapses over them. They have no idea what's happening. Wake up, some of them miraculously alive, live to tell the tale. Others, unfortunately, meeting the fate that we just showed you. Heartbreaking, really, to report on this kind of a tragedy for us. But this is the scale of rescue operation that's underway. 2 days on. This is the second day of rescue operations. And it looks like, based on what officials tell us, it could take a couple days more, especially because of the challenges they're facing with the terrain and the weather. This is where all of the rescue operations continue, even as remnants of the house are being pulled apart right now to reach the bodies that still remain in this debris. With video journalist Sachin Chandok, this is Akshita Nandagopal reporting for India Today from Wayanad. So that particular report was from the heart of where the landslide struck first, and then through the entire valley, the mud, the debris, the rocks, boulders, along with the debris of homes pushed across, and so created more damage across that entire stretch. So I wouldn't even say it was one small area. This was spread across an entire township that was set up in Wayanad, and it was because of a cloudburst that triggered it. There are a lot of questions about whether it was avoidable or not. We'll get to that in just a bit. But I want to bring in now Sagai Raj, who's joining us live from another part of Wayanad. We've been seeing, of course, mobilization like never before across Kerala and across the country as well, Sagai, to do everything they can to help with this rescue effort. You also visited where this landslide has taken place, that very site where rescue operations continue 48 hours on, Sagai, and it's looking rather grim. It's going to take another 2 days, perhaps, for them to, kind of scour through all of the debris.
Absolutely, and if you're visiting those places in Mundakai, you will not even witness that there were around 60 to 70 houses in that particular place. Every single house has been washed out, and people are trying to rescue or to pull out the bodies just to by seeing some kind of clues. For an example, if there are clothes which has been found in one particular place, that's when they try to dig. That's when they get mortal remains from that particular place. So they walk a little more further and they find some other clue like a stove or a steel plate or a gas stove, something like that. Then they realize, okay, there was a family here, so it is there something inside. So they pull. So when they pull, you get some kind of evidence like clothes or some kind of photographs. I have seen a certificate. I have seen a photograph of a family, 3 members, father, mother and a son. And it is quite unfortunate, and it is quite heart-wrenching to see a mortal remain of a boy within 10 years, which has been pulled out after 2 days. So this is the kind of work done by the rescue personnel in there, and the situation, as you rightly pointed out, it's still grim. The rescue personnel are still searching for more mortal remains. As per the localites, they claim that there were more people they are unable to trace. I have met a person who had come all the way from Mysuru who claims that he had come to meet his mama and mommy. There were entire family. I went to the hospital. I couldn't identify them, and I'm here. I'm unable to find them here. I don't know where they are. So this is the kind of agony that the family members and their relatives are going through here in Wayanad, where they are searching for the family members. They are trying to identify the family members in the hospital, and the mortal remains are so gory that they are unable to find. There are body parts, so they don't know who is who. And there are mortal remains still stuck under those debris, and the rescue person doesn't know where it is, because if it is all flat, it is all slush, and they have to dig. That's when you get to know. Remember last time when there was a similar kind of landslide in Kerala, it took 22 days for them to pull out the mortal remains, and this time it is even more bigger. As of now, we are quite apprehensive that the numbers might cross 200, and it might be even more than that, according to the locals. So we need to wait and watch. Yep. But one thing, hats off to the people of Wayanad. Every nook and corner of Wayanad, everybody is here to help rescue personnel, to extend their help to the people, whoever is there, and they are not allowing even a single vehicle which comes opposite to an ambulance. They make a way, whether it is you are from media or whether you have any kind of influence. Correct. They stop you, they don't allow you, and even we have to walk around 2 kilometers to reach the spot, saying that no, if you go further, you're blocking the roads, you're blocking the materials which has been supplied to for all kind of rescue operation there. So they didn't allow us. It's fine. We cooperate, but this is the kind of effort put by the people. See, rescue personnel, media professionals, and other people in and around Wayanad in Chudamela are more than 1,000 people, and not even one person have had food in a restaurant. Everybody got food supplied by Good Samaritans. Volunteers came forward. Banana, tea, coffee, biscuits, everything was supplied free of cost. Nobody paid money for that. Everything was available. That is the kind of effort, and that is the kind of humanity where people came forward and helped each other at this crisis.
It's truly the spirit of Kerala, and I think Sagai and I stand as an example of that, because through that entire course, and this wasn't just at the points where you had officials. When I crossed the river, when I went right up to the landslide point, even at that point, so many of them would ask you, do you want some food? Do you need some water? There's so much that people here, locals, are doing. They're doing everything they can to help. And it's not easy, because you can see around me the weather even at this point all through the day. It's raining all through the day. It's pouring here. Everyone's soaking wet. I'm soaking wet. It's very, very cold right now. It's not stopped anyone from coming out and saying that tomorrow I'll be back here to continue with the rescue work. And that's what's made the difference, because even when I was there, in that report that I filed, I repeatedly spoke about the dignity that the locals were giving those who've passed away in this landslide. They're all there just saying that, look, we know maybe nobody survived, but we will ensure that we do what it takes to help every single person, to help everybody be brought down. I've been getting a lot of requests on social media saying, can you put out a list of the names of people who've been found? Unfortunately, and it breaks my heart to say this, but I can't put that out because we don't have those names. 160 people have died. Just about 30 have been recognized at this point. So the rest, we still don't know who they are, which family they belong to, which home they belong to. And in a lot of these cases, complete families have been wiped out. I think the worst, most heartbreaking stories have come from some of these camps where you have, and I remember seeing a senior citizen standing outside. She's telling me, I've lost everyone in my family. I went home for a trip. I went somewhere else for a trip. I came back and all 7 members of my family are gone. She's standing there in sheer desperation, hoping for some news about her family. She doesn't know if their mortal remains have been pulled out or not. Nothing. So, that's just one example of what's happening right now on ground. I'll just get you some more reports, and I'll get you Sagai's detailed report also in just a bit from the spot. Sagai, stay with me. Just take a look at these reports from earlier today that I had filed. where I was giving you a sense of how bad the situation is, how badly homes have been hit. And these are the homes that are the fortunate few that are still standing at this point. Imagine that when you see this report, that things were far worse for so many others. Now, choppers are being used at the spot to help in bringing in some sort of relief aid and also in bringing in personnel on ground. The chopper is getting set to land, but the work on ground continues. I'll just flip over to the other side and show you how, in fact, the injured are being brought out one after another, which is why bringing in a chopper also greatly helps in airlifting some of the injured. But right now, this is how many of them are being brought out. 48 hours on, there are still senior citizens, men, women, children who are being pulled out right now, stretcher after stretcher. And here's where locals also are playing such an important role in helping lifting that stretcher, walking through all of this slush and ensuring that they get the necessary medical help as well. All around me, you can see the impact that the landslide has had. Where I'm standing right now is on the other side of Mundakai. So this is the area that hasn't been hit too badly by the landslide. These are essentially the debris of the landslide that landed up here. It's the house that you see on your screens. This particular one, the ground floor, completely destroyed. The car has been wrecked, as you can see, and that tells you really the impact of the landslide. What I want to show you is how much mud there actually is in these particular locations. So you can see ahead of me also how the car has been destroyed there, how it's been pushed aside by, in fact, all of the trees that have been uprooted. Parts of these houses completely gone. Like I said, they're drowned in mud right now. They're drowned in slush. This is just 1% that I'm showing you of the impact that the landslide has had. In other parts, people who've been less fortunate, their homes have been completely destroyed, buried right up till that point. So imagine how much mud there actually was. Here, even at this point, there's about 5 feet of mud. And that tells you why it's so hard for anyone to really survive in these circumstances.
I think the way the district collector, a young lady, she's here since the night. She reached here a few hours after the SP, the district administration, and then our defense people, military, Navy, Air Force, they reached here immediately, and there is full cooperation and coordination among various agencies of the Government of India and Government of Kerala.
You're a native of Kerala, so when you heard of the tragedy, did you feel it was imperative for you to be here?
It's a human tragedy. Wherever our brothers are involved, we feel like being with them. I have come here to express the solidarity of the entire India with the people who are suffering here. This is one of the worst natural calamities that has hit the state. But we will stand together.
But the biggest challenge remains, one, the terrain, and second, the weather. For now, it's eased up. There's a constant drizzle, of course, that you can see also. But it's much better when compared to yesterday when there was heavy rain, torrential rain, that stopped chopper services from reaching right up to this location. Somewhere around the mud is a well. So you could just fall right in, which is why right now nobody's being allowed close to that particular property. But we understand that whoever was inside that house, they managed to get away, and that's because their roof completely hasn't collapsed. There is some sense really that the house managed to withstand the damage, but there are many more such houses. Let me just show you how this entire area, all the trees that were there, uprooted. Many of them have collapsed on houses that were in this particular location. Just imagine what residents of these houses have actually gone through. This is the part where the landslide wasn't as bad, where there was minimal damage reported. With video journalist Sachin Chandok, this is Akshita Nandagopal reporting from Wayanad for India Today. So at this point, the death toll as per the Kerala government stands at 160. But unfortunately, and speaking to locals, seeing what I've seen at the landslide site, there's no way at this point, with the rescue operations continuing, that we can say with finality that the death toll stands at 160. So just wrap that around your head. 2 days on, we still don't know at this point how many people have died in this tragedy in Wayanad. Take a look at this report on what's happened in the last 24 hours as far as the rescue operations go.
Devastation, death and destruction. The deadly Wayanad landslides have buried Kerala in grief. God's own country's picturesque Wayanad has been devastated by huge shiftings of the earth.
The weather easing up now. Choppers are being used at the spot to help in bringing in some sort of relief aid and also in bringing in personnel on ground. You can see that this choppers come very close to the other side, and these areas were completely inaccessible earlier. Now there's monitoring happening, surveillance happening, and very crucially, you've got material being airdropped also to some of these areas. This is how many of them are being brought out. 48 hours on, there are still senior citizens, men, women, children who are being pulled out right now, stretcher after stretcher. And here's where locals also are playing such an important role in helping lifting that stretcher, walking through all of this slush and ensuring that they get the necessary medical help as well.
Lush green hamlets known for their beauty, Mundakai, Churalmala, Attamala and Nulpura are now scenes of destruction, totally cut off from other areas because of the landslides.
What I'm showing you right now is a school ground. This is not a river. This is not a place you get to see these kind of river streaming quite often. This is a school ground, and there is a building adjacent to right side, which is a collapsed building, and that is a school building. And this was a school ground. And imagine the kind of rain that these people got on that day when the landslide happened. Everything have flown to the field, the school ground, and it started to flow. And it has washed away the bridge, which was the only bridge connecting from this particular part of township, that is Churamala to Mundakai.
Survivors recount horrific moments when houses collapsed amidst deafening noise.
എൻ്റെ ആങ്ങള ഒരു ഏട്ടനുണ്ട്, പിന്നെ അനിയനുണ്ട്, അനിയൻ്റെ ഫാമിലി, ഏട്ടൻ്റെ ഫാമിലി. അനിയൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിയിൽ ഭാര്യനെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല, മക്കളെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല. ഏട്ടൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിയിൽ ഭാര്യനെ കിട്ടി, മക്കളെ കിട്ടി, മോള് പോയി, മോളെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല.
Okay, she's saying that she's come here to, receive the mortal remains of her two brothers, elder brother and younger brother. One of the children is still missing, is what she's saying. One of her sister-in-law the body of her sister-in-law has been found.
Bodies lined up at the overcrowded hospital building, where the families of the deceased frantically looked for their loved ones.
What we're seeing right now at this particular hospital is the family members, the relatives of the deceased coming here to identify the body and also, receive the mortal remains and take it to their home. So all I can say is heartbreaking scenes all across, because you're seeing people coming with a hope of it not being their family member, but then realizing that it's their family member, and all we can hear are cries of their family members. There's people who have spoken to their families in the last 2-3 days. So this has come as a shocker.
Hundreds of Army, Air Force and naval personnel are engaged in rescue operations, a continuing race against time. Wayanad paying the price of indiscriminate urbanization, deforestation and an unregulated tourism boom. With Shibimol KG, Sagai Raj and Akshita Nandagopal in Wayanad, Kerala. Bureau Report, India Today.
Like that report, these are serious questions that we're going to ask here on India Today about whether this landslide was avoidable. And I'm not talking about the politics, but rather about how we've ensured unplanned development at every stage, not just in Kerala, across the country, for which we constantly pay the price, talk about it, and then conveniently forget, again given to corruption. Similar situation in Wayanad as well. I want to get you now reports filed by my colleague Shibi Mol, because while Sagai and I were at the landslide spot, getting you all of those ground reports, telling you about the rescue operations, she was talking to people who wait here day in and day out for the last 2 days, who've been seated in Wayanad at, in fact, the local healthcare centre, hoping for any news about their loved ones.
Mortal remains of small children being brought here is it's really heartbreaking scenes. Is what we are seeing. Some of the family members are coming in. Most of them have come here to receive the bodies. What we are understanding. I do have one of the family members here, who came to receive the mortal remains. Chechi per
ശകുന്തള.
ചേച്ചി ഇവിടെ ആരുടെയാണ് ചേച്ചിയുടെ ആര് റിലേറ്റീവ് ആരാണ് ഇവിടെ?
എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഏട്ടനും ഉണ്ട്, പിന്നെ അനിയനുണ്ട്. അനിയൻ്റെ ഫാമിലി, ഏട്ടൻ്റെ ഫാമിലി. അനിയൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിയിൽ ഭാര്യനെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല, മക്കളെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല. ഏട്ടൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിയിൽ ഭാര്യനെ കിട്ടി, മക്കളെ കിട്ടി, മോള് പോയി, മോളെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല.
This has come as a shocker. There was rains, there was a lot of heavy rain prediction, and a lot of them were asked to shift to safer locations, but nobody expected a landslide, and a landslide of this magnitude was very unexpected. With video journalist Tinku Rashega, Shibmol KG for India Today from Wayanad.
Okay, so those are reports filed by Shibi and at, in fact, Mepadi, which is where the local town is, essentially another few kilometers from where I am. That's where the bodies are being taken. That's where the injured also are being taken. So relatives constantly camping there, hoping for some news about their loved ones. And so many of them refusing to give up hope, saying, look, there's still a chance. There's still a chance that my family in their home was safe. And hopefully the officials haven't just reached them yet. Those are some of the voices that we're getting you here on India Today to also put the focus on how much locals, families here are suffering as a result of this tragedy. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has been constantly briefing the media about the ongoing rescue operations as well, and steps being taken by his government. Let's play out for you what the Chief Ministers had to say.
വയനാട് ജില്ലയിലാകെ നിലവിൽ 82 ദുരിതാശ്വാസ ക്യാമ്പുകളിലായി 817 ആളുകളാണുള്ളത്. അതിൽ 19 പേര് ഗർഭിണികളാണ്. മേപ്പാടിയിൽ 8 ക്യാമ്പുകളുണ്ട്. മൊത്തം 421 കുടുംബങ്ങളിലായി 1466 പേർ 1486 പേർ ഈ ക്യാമ്പുകളിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ കഴിയുന്നുണ്ട്.
So several relief camps, rescue centers set up in Mepadi town, which is the closest essentially to where the tragedy, to where the disaster has taken place. But the worst affected right now is in fact just a few kilometers away from where I am, which is the landslide spot itself. Sagai Raj gets you this detailed report where he trekked all the way up to one of the worst affected points to show you how difficult and the effort it's taking for the rescue and relief personnel to reach that spot, and to ensure they do everything they can to help all of the people stranded there, to also retrieve all of the bodies. And mind you, there's no way that ambulances are able to get there. There's no way that any equipment is able to get there. Everything being taken by hand.
This time they are using these kind of zippers to shift mortal remains. It is quite depressing and unfortunate incident. It has been reported from Wayanad. Challenges are quite evident in front of your eyes. You can see the water is gushing very fast. And what I'm showing you right now is a school ground. This is not a river. This is not a place you get to see these kind of river streaming quite often. This is a school ground, and there is a building adjacent to right side, which is a collapsed building, and that is a school building. And this was a school ground. And imagine the kind of rain that these people got on that day when the landslide happened. Everything have flown to the field. It has washed away the bridge, which was the only bridge connecting from this particular part of township, that is Churamala, to Mundakai. And that is one of the reasons that why there was a delay in the rescue operation in Mundakai, because the rescue personnel have to get these ropes, have to get this zippers where they can connect from here to there and shift all kind of rescue materials for them to rescue all those people. And everybody were in quick in action. The entire Wayanad came together, united, and they stopped all the other vehicles coming from the opposite direction. They allowed only ambulance to pass through that particular road. And even today, there are volunteers on the street, ensure that all the relief materials reaches the rescue centers, all ambulance reaches the rescue spot as soon as possible.
You know, the army, the NDRF, the SDRF, the Kerala police, the Kerala fire services, the Malabar special forces, there are forces who've come in from Tamil Nadu, all of them right now deserve a special salute for the amount of effort they're putting in to not just reaching some of these far-flung areas that have been completely cut off because of the landslides, but because of how they're working round the clock. Right next to me, cars going in and out, vehicles going in and out. Through the night, this will continue because the effort is on to end this operation as soon as possible. Tragic news coming in of the death toll now climbing up in the Wayanad landslide tragedy. The number of deaths confirmed by the government at this point is a 167. But here's the heartbreaking bit, and this is why we've been constantly saying here on India Today, all of us on ground, that unfortunately we could see those numbers go up even to 200 plus, because at this point 190 plus people are still missing. There's still no word about where they are, where they could be stuck, which point did the landslide hit these particular areas that the officials haven't been able to reach. 167 deaths right now. 190 plus people unaccounted for. All of the bodies that have been recovered so far, many of them haven't been identified just yet. So that's going to be another mammoth operation for officials, which they're going to focus on. But right now, their 100% attention is on ensuring they can complete the rescue operations kilometers away from us in Mundakai, ensure that every spot that's been affected reach some of those, because there are massive mounds that I saw, which the officials are saying we haven't even begun to dig through because we don't know first where we have the resources to get through that. First, we want to focus on the areas which had homes and then get to these massive mounds where, in all likelihood, they're going to be finding more bodies and, unfortunately, more tragic news coming in of that death toll going up as a result of the landslides in Kerala here in Wayanad. 190 plus people missing right now. But even as the death toll is going up and all of the focus is on the rescue work, as I've shown you for the last half an hour, as is always the case, unfortunately, in India, and clearly we can't expect better from our politicians, there is, yes, a political blame game. I will say this, the centre state, everyone's been working in great tandem here on ground, but there is a blame game over whether this landslide and this level of tragedy could have actually been avoided. Home Minister Amit Shah today in Parliament said that while all efforts are being taken by the central government, there was a warning sent out to the Kerala government 7 days prior of heavy rains in Wayanad and also a landslide warning. Now, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has responded saying that's absolutely not true, saying that the warning actually came in after the cloudburst. Before that was a green alert, which means there was a small chance, a very, very minimal chance of landslides. Let's play out for you what Home Minister Amit Shah said in Parliament and then the Chief Minister's retort.
मैं सदन के सामने स्पष्टता करना चाहता हूं, 23 जुलाई को केरल सरकार को अर्ली वार्निंग भारत सरकार की ओर से दी गई थी। 23 जुलाई को 7 दिन पहले, फिर 24 को गई, फिर 25 को गई, 26 तारीख को मान्यवर ये कहा गया कि 20 सेंटीमीटर से ज्यादा वर्षा होगी, भारी वर्षा होगी, लैंडस्लाइड होने की संभावना है, मड भी रस होकर आ सकता है और लोग इसके अंदर दबकर मर भी सकते हैं। मैं कुछ कहना नहीं चाहता था मान्यवर, मगर भारत सरकार की अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम पर सवाल किए गए, इसलिए मैं कहता हूं प्लीज लिसन अस, मत चिल्लाइए, प्लीज रीड इट। जो वार्निंग भेजा है उसको पढ़िए जरा। और इस देश में कई राज्य सरकारें ऐसी हैं जिन्होंने इस प्रकार की वार्निंग का उपयोग कर जीरो कैजुअलिटी डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट किया है।
കേന്ദ്ര ആഭ്യന്തരമന്ത്രി ഇങ്ങനെയൊരു മുന്നറിയിപ്പ് നൽകിയിരുന്നു. എന്നിട്ട് കേരളം എന്താണ് ചെയ്തത് എന്നൊരു ചോദ്യമാണ് ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. ദുരന്തമുണ്ടായ പ്രദേശങ്ങളിൽ ഓറഞ്ച് അലർട്ടാണ് ആ ഘട്ടത്തിൽ നിലനിന്നിരുന്നത്. അവിടെ 115-നും 204 മില്ലിമീറ്ററിനും ഇടയിൽ മഴ പെയ്യും എന്നായിരുന്നു കേന്ദ്ര കാലാവസ്ഥാ കേന്ദ്രത്തിന്റെ മുന്നറിയിപ്പ്. ഇന്നലെ ഞാൻ അതിലൊരു ഭാഗം പറഞ്ഞതാണ്. എന്നാൽ എത്ര മഴയാ പെയ്തത്? ആദ്യത്തെ 24 മണിക്കൂറിനുള്ളിൽ 200 മില്ലിമീറ്റർ, അടുത്ത 24 മണിക്കൂറിനുള്ളിൽ 372 മില്ലിമീറ്റർ മഴ. പ്രത്യേകം ശ്രദ്ധിക്കേണ്ട കാര്യം, ഒരു തവണ പോലും ആ പ്രദേശത്ത് റെഡ് അലർട്ട് നൽകിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. അപകടം ഉണ്ടായതിനു ശേഷം രാവിലെ 6 മണിയോടുകൂടിയാണ് റെഡ് അലർട്ട് ഈ പ്രദേശത്ത് മുന്നറിയിപ്പായി നൽകുന്നത്.
Forget this blame game. We are going to focus on the rescue operations here on India Today and continue to get you those very, very crucial ground reports. I'm wrapping up this broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. I promise to get you more through the next 24 hours on the rescue operations here in Wayanad.